Ladies and gentlemen, episode 402 of the Wrestle Plug is now. I am your host, Amir Zanetti, the host of Wrestle Plug, the harbinger of professional wrestling. And on tap for you this week, oh, you lucky little sorts, someone incredibly outlandish has decided to join us on the podcast. If you watch NWA Powerrr, then by now you would have worked out that Zicky Dice is our guest on the Wrestle Plug. Not only a high caliber and exciting breakout wrestler, particularly having his breakout year this year, obviously joining NWA's ranks and becoming a part of NWA Powerrr, but also a highly accomplished musician, a magician, a man of many trades, jack of all trades, master of everything. So, without further ado, let's have a little conversation with the outlandish one, Zicky Dice.
How is life for you, man? Because, like, seriously, you've just blown up over the last few months. Like, what's it like going from, I don't know, I wouldn't say obscurity, because you've always been pretty, not famous, but, like, pretty public, in the public eye. You've got your band and shit that for years was kind of your thing. So, what's it been like? Tell me what it's been like for the last 3 or 4 months since NWA.
Well, let me see if I can even put it into words, because I can't. I'll be honest with you, it's hard to wrap my mind around everything that's been going on daily. And at the same time, I'm so excited, humbled, grateful, thankful. Man, I don't know. Every day, I'll be honest, is an adventure. I don't know what email I'm going to wake up to from who, saying what, asking me to go where. Things have completely changed, and it's interesting, really, because I've been 5 years ago, I made the decision to become a professional wrestler. August will be 5 years since my debut match. So in the last 4.5 years, I've been working around the United States. I wrestled in South Korea last April, and I've basically been doing, well, at least for the last 2 years when I started the Outlandish, added Outlandish to Zicky Dice, basically been doing the same thing that everyone's been seeing now. And it's just all of a sudden, boom, there's eyes on you, on me everywhere. A lot of people that used to ignore me don't. A lot of promotions that I wanted to work for now are messaging me. And it's exciting. And I want my story at the end of the day to motivate others, because I almost threw in the towel. You mentioned Heart to Heart. I sang in a touring punk band for a while before wrestling. So I've done my fair share of playing shows and entertaining, but there's nothing else for me out there. There's nothing else I'm happier doing. And I decided to give it one hard push, and it's starting to pay off. So, here we are.
Yeah, I've tried to do my research as best as possible. I haven't been a punk about this shit. Like, I've really sort of looked into you. Your backstory is wild. Like, you've got a rich history and a great life. Like, most people, they get into wrestling and then they get that rich lifestyle, that wild lifestyle. Like you say, it's such a crazy day-to-day process, but you've had a lot going on. You mentioned Heart to Heart, the punk rock band. Like, obviously there's so many parallels between music and wrestling for so many people, that touring. Same with stand-up as well. A lot of people see that, like, parallel and stuff. What's that like for you? Was music the first love, or was wrestling always going to be your love? Because I remember I've got a quote here from you about going to the Arrowhead Pond to go and watch wrestling and seeing Stone Cold versus Shawn Michaels. Like, these are not small time names we're talking about here, man.
Yeah, wrestling was my first love. That's what got me into. I hate this term, but amateur wrestling. Because of professional wrestling, I wanted to be a wrestler. So that got me into freestyle and Greco-Roman. And I wrestled all the way through my sophomore year of high school until my father had passed away. And kind of got over it there, and just got numb to everything. Didn't want to wrestle anymore. Didn't really want to check into life. Didn't really give a shit. And from there, I found punk rock and hardcore and started bands and playing music. And I fell in love with that. And that's what I want to do. And we took my band from my mom's garage to the Vans Warped Tour and some badass tours around the country. And it was until we were in Nashville on the last tour we were on. It was actually 5 years ago. I was acting kind of heelish on stage, and we were getting booed, but people were like singing along with the band. And the tour manager was like, "I got to talk to you at the end of the night." And I was like, "Oh shit, we're getting kicked off the tour." And he's like, "Listen, I know how much you love pro wrestling." He's like, "You're agile, you're athletic, and you've got it. You're just oozing with this charisma." He's like, "I think if you gave it a serious shot that you could be successful in this business." And I was like, what the hell? So I text Seth Rollins, who I had met through the music scene. He had come out to a few tours, and I said, "Hey, I want you to I want you to train me." Sorry. And he said, "Ha, ha, ha, ha. Are you serious?" And I said, "Yes, I'm going to be better than you are one day." He said, "Then I'll see you May 1st. So I moved home, packed up my stuff, went to WrestleMania 31, which was in California at the time, and I watched him cash in and win the title. And it was 2 weeks later that I moved to be trained by one of 12 to be trained by a current WWE champion. So I got quite the impressive resume, if you will. But breaking into the business later,
true.
like, breaking in. Here's how I looked at it. It was like I was 26 at the time. I'd been playing through the music, and I was breaking into business a little late. So I wanted to go and get trained. But what I thought, in my personal opinion, was the absolute best. And who better than the current WWE champion?
The Black and Brave Academy, yeah. Like you mentioned, Seth Rollins was actually a fan of your band, wasn't he? Before you started training as a wrestler.
I don't know if he was a fan of the band per se, but at least the style of music and the bands we were on tour with. But that's how I met him. I did send him a Heart to Heart record and some merch once upon a time. But yeah, and I sent him the new shit. He's heard the whole Heart to Heart new record. He digs. So I guess that's a good sign.
So you
but he also does like some terrible music. I'll be honest.
Okay.
he likes some good music and he likes some terrible music. I'll be honest.
Okay, he's got an eclectic taste. We'll go with that. Black and Brave Academy, man. That's where so many, like, two of my friends have been there actually, which is pretty wild. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
See, you picked up Black and Brave is, that's becoming one of the big places to go and learn to be a wrestler. Now, I've watched a lot of your old stuff and I had to get a feel of what you are. Because right now, I would consider you one of the most exciting and charismatic wrestlers in the world. So,
Thank you.
My pleasure, man. Honestly, we watch so much wrestling. I consider myself a student of it. I consume as much of it as possible. And there aren't many who take a microphone and captivate you like you do right now. So credit to you for that.
Thank you.
Take us back 5 years. You're in the Black and Brave Academy. What's that process like? What's it like first walking through those doors, man? The physicality of everything.
Well, let me put it to you this way. Let's see. Day one. They tell you to show up and, like everyone's there but Seth Rollins, right? And we're all quiet, standing in a circle. And then, like looking back, I know this was planned, right? I know. And, he shows up 10 minutes later, late through the door, and everyone, you just get like, oh shit, he's here, like he's here. And everyone's like, standing there, all right, let's get to work, and we'll line up. And so night one, you think you're going to like meet and greet and hang out and get to know each other? Hell no. Straight to work. And they have a fitness test night one that is like hell. It is hell. It is hell. We had to walk like animals, like elephants and frogs and bears and flamingos and cranes. Dude, it was like people were crying. People were throwing up. I was definitely crying in my head. And it was like 4 hours of the most intense workouts, and they want you to quit, right? Like they want to see who's coming back night two. So night two, you get there and you get the training. At the time, we were running out of a place called Quad City CrossFit. The Black and Brave now has a facility which new students should be counting their blessings because we didn't have that. So every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, on top of doing CrossFit, because CrossFit Jesus, Seth Rollins makes you, on top of doing CrossFit and the brutal training and working out during training, you got to set up and tear down the ring every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Now, at this time, he was still working Raw and SmackDown, which was Monday, Tuesdays. And so on Tuesdays, we would have Crotch and Merrick Brave training. And on Wednesdays, we would have all three. So a lot of people are like, he's so busy. I bet he wasn't even there. Bullshit. He's always there. That dude lives and breathes wrestling. And it's insane. he'll come back from a tour and the next day he's back at training, running class, So he does get in the ring with you. It's very hands-on, and if you get questions at the end of the night, you can ask questions about whatever comes to your mind, something you saw on Raw that week, whatever, and you just get to pick this dude's brain. And one of the best parts about going to Black and Brave is we're still in contact today. I send him promos and matches that you guys are all watching, and he still gives me his feedback. So I'm still constantly learning every day and trying to soak up as much as I can. And I'm very grateful to have chosen to go. I've gone to the Black and Brave Wrestling Academy.
Your early matches and your early persona obviously are not what you are now, so to speak. I watched you, wrestle guys like Joey Daniels and PWP.
Wow, that's my first singles match, I think. That's my first singles match.
Yeah, I wanted to do my shit, man. I didn't want to cut you short, and I checked a lot. I watched a lot of your stuff. Like, there's a difference there. Like, I don't want to say that you look like the archetypal indie wrestler, but there's that big, burly, bearded man.
Oh man, I was chunky. I was like 65, 70 pounds heavier. I had a big red beard and brown hair. I don't have any of those things anymore. I still got a little bit of the belly. Shout out to all you haters online. I see you. But yeah, I decided to take wrestling more serious. I didn't want to blend in with everybody else. You're right. I did see big beards and the man buns and this. So I wanted to be different. And, when I first came out, I had this idea. Like, I had the name Zicky Dice before I even started wrestling. I actually got that through Heart to Heart. My name is Nick Zappo. That's where Zick comes from, because I have a stupid friend who switched my first letter and my last letter of my name, first and last name. And that's where we got Zick. People used to call me Zick, and that evolved into Zicky. I used to shoot dice all the time on tour, so that's where dice came in. I was like, if I'm ever going to be a wrestler, it's going to be Zicky Dice. And I remember at Black and Brave when we were coming up with names, I was like, oh, mine's Zicky Dice. And Crotch comes up to me, and he's like, I don't like it. And I was all, with all due respect, your name is Crotch with a K. He's all, touche. So he's like, you can keep the name. So here we are, Zicky Dice. A lot of people used to say, what's a Zicky Dice? But now they're all finding out. I had this vision at first that I was going to be like this casino pit boss. And then I started looking like a kind of bootleg Bray Wyatt or some shit. And then I was like, nah, this isn't working. And I was greener than goose shit. So I was like, I'm going to find something. We were at the gym. It was like 5:30 in the morning. Me and my friend, and this dude walks in. He was wearing some silly shit. And I was like, dude, that dude's outlandish. And I was all, oh my God. At 5:30 in the morning, just a light bulb, ding. And I was all, outlandish Zicky Dice. That's the first time I said it. My homie's all, yeah? And I was all, yeah. I was all, that's it. So added in the word, added in my hand gesture, which is, originates from the classic circle game. And here we are. I don't know what Zicky's going to do next. I can't speak for him. Me and Zicky don't hang out. To clear things up, my fiance said that Zicky Dice is not allowed at my bachelor party and not allowed at my wedding. So that's how much trouble Zicky gets me into. But it's been fun ever since. And I mentioned earlier about throwing in the towel once upon a time. And you know what? You'll hear it here first. I said, fuck it. I got sick of thinking what everyone else thought about me. I got sick of trying to please people in wrestling. I got sick of busting my ass and not getting what I wanted or what I felt like I deserved, because I knew that I was different from everybody else. I knew it. I could just feel it and I could see it. And I decided to have more fun with the character and work even harder and not take no for an answer. Paul Heyman told my good buddy Keita Murray when we did extra work at WWE, he said, a no is a yes that's waiting to be answered. And I took that and I ran with it. A.R. Fox told me, make yourself undeniable. I took that advice and I ran with it. And here we are. And that's the two best pieces of advice I've ever gotten. And, you add being kind along the way and showing people respect. And this is what you get. And I want my story to motivate others. I truly do. Because I said this before, and this is one of the best quotes that's ever left my mouth. And I'm going to say it again. If you want something, it doesn't matter if it's in wrestling or life, go and get it, okay? It's that simple. Listen here. It's not that easy, but it's that simple. And that's the best way I can put it.
Perfect. No, literally perfect. I love the fact that you haven't... It's just simple. It's effective, and it's... To be honest, the proof's in the pudding of what you've done. You're at NWA now, National Wrestling Alliance, the biggest one of the biggest names in the history, if not the biggest name in history wrestling. People can talk WWE and WCW and whatever, but NWA is literally the thoroughbred of wrestling, and has been for the best part of 75 years now.
It's a crazy story. I have to say, every time you bring it up, it just comes to mind. Let's talk about how I got to NWA. You want to hear that story? Because
that's just basically where I was going. Yeah, that's where I wanted to go. So
I get so excited because you hear it, like, it's mind blowing. This is really mind blowing. This is where the mind fuck starts, on this day right here. Okay, I was supposed to wrestle in Florida. For whatever reason, the show didn't work out and it fell through. I had been working for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood for the last 3 years, on and off. And they had reached out prior, so I was like, oh, man, let me see if I can get back on the show. I texted my buddy Yuma over there, and I said, hey, Yuma, you still got room on November 3rd for me? He said, come on down. We'll squeeze you in. I said, all right, cool. I got in the car. It was a 6-hour drive there. I drove there. I showed up a little early. And in those 3 years, okay, not once was I given a promo. Not in the ring, not backstage, not live, nothing. And did I complain? Hell no, I didn't. I knew that when it was my time, that it would be earned, and I was going to kill it, by all means. I was going to show them why I belonged on that microphone. I knew secretly deep down that's one of my strong suits, and now the world's just getting a taste of that for the first time. So I go out there and I say 6 words in a promo, 6 to 7 words. I'm not even bullshitting you. I was immediately pulled back into a room where I met David Lagana and Billy Corgan. And Billy Corgan grabs both of my hands and he goes, look at you. He's like, look at your hair and your earring and your sunglasses and the fanny pack. He's like, what are you doing December 14th? And I stopped and I got all quiet. I was like, the date sounds familiar. I was like, oh, me and the fiance just planned a snow trip. And I looked at him. I go, absolutely nothing, sir. I'm completely free. Of course. You know, what the hell else am I going to say? So he's like, well, how would you like to work with me in the NWA? And I said, I would absolutely love that. And he's like, well, Lagana will reach out to you on Monday. I text Chicken. I called my fiance Chicken. I said, hey, snow trip's going to have to wait. We're going to NWA. And that was it. It literally, everything I've been busting my ass for and preparing for all came down to that moment. Someplace I wasn't even supposed to be that day. I didn't even know Lagana or Billy Corgan were going to be there that day. And here we are. You know, the best thing me and my Levi Shapiro told me this. Sorry, I get so excited. I get so jumbled sometimes. I have just so much information to spit. We say trust the process, okay? I've been seeing my buddies around me left and right getting signed, getting picked up by here, there, you name it, they're going, all right? So I knew that people were watching, and I knew that this was possible. So we always said, Levi Shapiro taught me this, it's trust the process, you know? What we have learned is everyone has their path, and everyone is on their own path. So you can't really compare yourself to others in this business, you know? You just really got to put in the work, and it will pay off, I promise you.
I mean, this is something with you, like, people are going to look at the past 5 years, and like you say, you want your story to be heard, you want people to be motivated, you want people to be inspired. What better place to go than with your story? So you wrestled Tim Storm, didn't you, right before you got to NWA a couple of years ago?
I did, yeah.
I know it's a throwaway match, but I wanted to ask you about that experience, because Tim Storm is basically a legend in this business. You know, he's one of the longest reigning NWA champions of all time. At this point, he was the NWA heavyweight champion. What's it like stepping in the ring with that guy? Was that your biggest match at that point, would you say?
At that point, yes. I was very excited to have gotten that match. You know, they wanted someone bigger and you know, that could make Tim look good. And they actually used that footage. I remember that in the 10 Pounds of Gold series, I was featured on there. But you don't even recognize me, to be honest. I look completely different, minus the tattoos. Totally different dude. And that was the biggest match at that time for me. And I was very happy to have done that. Tim still pulls me aside and, you know, he compliments how much weight I've lost and how much I've changed since then. And just has given me just the most utmost respect. Like, he's thanked me 2 or 3 times for that match specifically. He's like, look, I know I've thanked you before. He's like, but that was, you know, such a good time and such a blast. And I'm thankful I was able to do that with you. And so that was huge for me. And it's just now working side by side by him, you know, I think it's time we might have to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see a more competitive match, and I think you and Tim Storm are just, you could see, even in that 5 minutes, a little bit of magic. You know, when guys just work well, there was a hunger for that. I wanted to mention the fact that you are basically your own marketing manager. You probably got a lot of this through working on that independent music scene, working in, you know, punk rock
Yes.
and stuff like that. So if anyone goes to your YouTube channel, if anyone follows your social media presence, you're a guy who gets it. You understand it. You understand modern social media. You understand technology. But you also keep that old school vibe, which is so cool, which is beautiful for the NWA.
Thank you. Thank you.
Talk to us about self-promotion, man. And also, I am absolutely adamant. I need to know where one man finds a $16,000 fanny pack.
Oh, it's my custom fanny pack maker. It costs $6,000 just for me to get a hold of him. Let me tell you that. And when I finally do, then he goes and searches out of this world for all of the components to make that $16,000 fanny pack. But yeah, I picked up my grind, or the way my hustle, if you will, just from diving in and being hands-on at an early age. Trying to get people to come to my high school band shows, printing out flyers. I still print out flyers to this day. I hand them out by hand. You name it, I've done it. I've sold by myself when my band was on Warped Tour. I sold 2,200 CDs in a month. Every morning, I would go out in line and just talk to people and sell CDs for $5. And I sold 2,200 in a month.
Damn.
I just have, as much, sometimes it drives me nuts. I just know how to talk to people and I enjoy it most of the time. And I just found that in my experience, making that connection with people and engaging with the people who give a shit about you goes a long way. And, you know, I got people actually tweeting me back, which is cool to see, to be like, oh, I just want to say I love how much you engage with your fans. And I try and take the time to get to everybody. I personally want to meet and entertain everybody because that's my goal. I've had a lot of shitty days in life, and I struggle with PTSD, anxiety, and depression. And the reason why I do this, whether it's with Heart to Heart or Zicky Dice, is I'm an emotional salesman. I like to sell emotion. I want people to feel something different. So at the end of the day, they don't feel like the way I have on some of my dark days, you know? So I'm nowhere near where I want to be yet. I've said before, John Cena has the most wishes granted with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and I would like to try and top that. Yeah, I want to leave the world in wrestling better than when I found it.
The storytelling aspect of who you are as a person comes through, and it comes through beautifully. And I have said from the get-go that you are made for the British independent scene, especially. Obviously, you probably
I'm dying to come out there. I'm dying. I have yet to be that way, and I'm dying. I'm serious. Even talking to you makes me want to go out there so much more. Like, I'm ready. If you're listening, I'm ready.
There's a few people that we know, and we are going to be pestering the shit out of them, frankly.
Thank you.
I want to talk about characters. In NWA, there are, for my money, NWA has the best mic workers in the world. And this is from a show that's done, 17, 18 episodes on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
You've got the creative process of so many different guys backstage as well. But you're also surrounded by guys, you know, we're talking about Nick Aldis. We're talking about Marty Scurll. Obviously, we know very well both of those guys. Stu Bennett's on commentary. You've got Eddie Kingston over there. Eli Drake.
Dude, I know.
And there's you. And let's not bullshit here. Let's not blow smoke. This is honest. You are on that level with everyone else there. You are, and not only that, you've carved out your own character, and that's what's so exciting. How is that? What is it like being around so many productive, creative minds like you're able to carve out your own niche?
The first thing that comes to mind is like, all right, so I know I can talk a little bit, all right? Now, let's be honest. I'll toot my own horn here for a second. But there's some of these guys like, oh, man, if I go head-to-head with him, this might be the one dude that stumps me. Like, you know, that's what I think. I always got to have, like, something in the back pocket, you know, because these guys are good. You're right. But we're surrounded by excellent minds to pick, and it's overwhelming. I try and, like, soak up so much information. And, dude, for God's sakes, we got Sean Mooney there now. Like, how rad is that? You know what I mean? You never know who's going to show up at NWA. I never know who's going to show up. I find out with everybody else. And it's very exciting. It's just, you know, you have so much opportunity to learn and get better by so many great minds who have been there and have done it, you know. And, yeah, holy hell. I'm very appreciative of that.
there's some. Do you know what? We don't fucking mince our words here, and we don't mince our questions. Jim Cornette used to be part of the process at NWA, no longer. But from a real perspective, Jim Cornette carries a lot of, cachet in this business. Did he have anything like to help you? Did he help you in the process at all? Was Jim Cornette somebody who was involved with you at all?
I'll be honest. I came in right as he was leaving. We didn't even meet. I was looking forward to having him call one of my matches, but that didn't get to happen. So, yeah, I mean, that would have been a great mind to pick. I would have loved to hear what he had to say about outlandish Zicky Dice, but we'll save that for another day.
That's fair. That's fair. We'll move on from there. Zicky Dice, the get up. Would you say that you've got to the point now, or do you think, because everyone always says you never stop learning, you never stop evolving in wrestling. That's something I'm learning early doors. Do you feel that the process has only just begun, and where you want the outlandish character to be, where you want Zicky Dice to be, because he's obviously an extension of you, he's an extension of that insane charisma. Where do you want Zicky Dice to ultimately end up?
Oh, man. Dude. You asked me this question, and I think it depends on the day and time that you ask me. I've been going back and forth with this for a little while. I do love the NWA, and I was having this conversation with a friend. Like, you got to remember who brought you to the dance, right? They brought me to the dance, and I got the stage, and I wouldn't mind going for the 10 pounds of pink. I wouldn't mind winning that television championship, winning 7 in a row, and taking down Nick Aldis and really making a name for myself, and then have control of doing whatever the hell I want and going wherever the hell I want. I'm nowhere near, like I said, where I want to be. I see Zicky Dice as larger than life, and I'm starting to notice that he's getting a lot of eyes, and I'm ready to take over. I'm ready to make everyone who ever doubted me eat their socks, and just, it's an outlandish takeover. I'm going to have the world in my hand, my friend. Let's just put it that way.
I saw you tweet out recently about, how cool it was that now, the people who left you on red on Twitter, now they're the people who want a piece of Zicky Dice. They're the people coming in, desperately wanting to cash in on this success. Is that vindication for you as an individual, as somebody who's worked hard to get where you are?
I'm glad you brought that up, because I want to clear the air about that tweet specifically. I didn't mean any ill intent behind that tweet. I realized that I might have gotten a little lashback from that, and that's okay. But what I really wanted that to be was motivating to others, because it motivated me, and that's the absolute truth. I love being left on red in a weird, sick way, because it made me be like, oh, okay, they're not ready yet, and maybe I'm not. So what do I got to do? I got to work harder. I got to work harder. What can I do to get them to come to me? And unfortunately, that's how this business is, so shit. I don't know. I still have fuel in the fire. There's still so many places where I want to go, and so many things I got to do. And I'm just crossing them off the list one by one.
I mean, I didn't bring it up with the intention of obviously, digging.
No, I know you didn't. I know you didn't.
Yeah,
and most people took it well. It's just, I don't know, maybe some of the promoters actually may have thought it was against them personally, but it's not, and it wasn't. It was more to motivate others who were in my situation or are in that situation, and ready, because there's a lot of talented guys out there. Unfortunately, there's only a limited amount of spaces. Luckily, there's more spots now for people to work, but you never know. I've seen a lot of great talent go undiscovered for their whole career.
It's funny you mention that, because that's kind of the vibe I get with you as a guy who, even though you're still kind of in your infancy and obviously have so much to give, you've gone under the radar for so long, and now all of a sudden you've just burst out in full color. Watching you on NWA it kind of reminded me, it's that old cliche. You're watching black and white TV, and then all of a sudden something just bursts out in full color at you. There's this vibrancy, this excitement. Your match at Hard Times with Dan Math. What's it like, that vibe sort of all of a sudden you're in NWA, and now bang, you're on that kind of pay-per-view circuit. You're on that big scene, that big time
Oh man,
stage.
that was
Working
that
a
was so
heavy setter like Dan as well, who, he can fuck shit up, let's be honest.
Yeah, oh yeah. He's a big dude. My chest hurt for like 3 days after that match. It was very exciting, and knowing like, all right, tonight's the first night I get music, and everyone gets to hear my custom song that I've had forever. And I get to wrestle a name on a live pay-per-view. Like, dude, it was a lot to take in. And at NWA for the NWA Television Championship. When a few weeks ago I was working your local swap meet, you know what I mean? Like,
It's wild, man.
It really is. It really is. And I take pride in representing the Black and Brave everywhere I go. I am one of the hardest working students to come out of that school. There's some great names coming. So my goal is to be the first graduate that signs a contract. That's what I want. And I want to motivate others. I want people to follow my footsteps. Like I keep repeating this, but I'm telling you, this is why I do what I do. It's not any fun if I don't share the journey with everybody else. Why keep it for myself? I got friends from high school that message me like, "Your life's unreal. Like I live vicariously through you. Please don't stop." Or I've known you since second grade, and I see these videos of Zicky Dice. I don't even know who that guy is. He's like, this is unreal. And it's like those little things that keep me going. Or the students in the special ed class that I used to work for that I have to FaceTime because they miss me, or they want my Zicky Dice jacket, or they watch the same Zicky Dice match every single day. Or my nephew at school got in trouble for slamming someone down and saying he's Zicky Dice. Like that's the shit that keeps me going. It's like, wow. Like I am now like becoming one of those wrestlers that like I was looking up when I was young. Looking up to.
I just want somebody like my wrestling journey myself. I'm just thinking about somebody going out there and executing my finisher at school. I feel like that would be the day I'd made it as a man. That would be awesome. Ricky Starks is a great budding rivalry that you have going on in NWA. Obviously, TV tapings and things aside, we're not going to shatter the 4-4 and stuff like that. But recently you've been dealing with it quite a lot. And also, the other thing I wanted to mention as well, there's been a social media drive lately trying to get more followers for NWA. And I noticed that you've offered to do anything, one thing that fans want. Now, obviously, we're not there yet, but I know you strike me as a man of your word that you will do this. You're a pretty crazy son of a bitch, to be fair. And I really
there was a few ideas. The first video we shot one promo, and they wanted me to redo it because I said I was going to shave my eyebrows off on Powerrr.
Oh, shit.
and she's like, Amanda over there, she's like, if this happens, you really have to do that. And I was like, yeah, okay. And she's like, so why don't you just do something else? I was like, all right, hit record. And I just said whatever came off my lips first, and it was whatever the fans want, which I think I'd rather shave my eyebrows off. But I saw like lick Trevor Murdoch's gear or take a bath and bake beans, and I said that I would one-up them and eat the whole bathtub of baked beans after. So I don't know what the hell I'm going to do, but if you haven't yet, if you're listening and you have not subscribed, head to youtube.com/NWA and hit that subscribe button, and let's see what the hell you guys can make me do.
Well, fuck it, you mentioned him. Licking Trevor Murdoch's gear is an image I don't want to see. Like, I love you dearly, but please don't do that.
Oh, God, that sounds disgusting.
It really does. Like, but Trevor Murdoch is a guy. See, this is the cool thing about the NWA. You got Tim Storm, Nick Aldis, Trevor Murdoch, guys who were almost kind of looked over at other places, and here they are now being allowed to, vibe in a different way. You got guys who used to be on the biggest stage along, Aaron Stevens, who is almost on your level, almost when it comes to, that comedic timing and that charisma. Like, you've got so many guys around you to not only learn from, to bounce off of. How do you stop yourself from being overwhelmed as a professional walking into a locker room? Holy shit, Trevor Murdoch's over there, Eli Drake's over there. Like, my mind would just explode.
Especially going in somewhere there and I'm like bottom of the totem pole. I don't know, man. It is very tough. And like Raven was backstage one day, and like you never know who the hell's gonna pop in, and it's just like, man, this is unreal. Or like Rock and Roll Express, like pulling me over and telling me stories and telling me they love my character. And like Stu Bennett pulled me aside and said my matches are easy to call because I remind him of a football player I'm terrible with football, but on the 80s. In the 80s, I guess he played for the Raiders and used to throw his helmet in the crowd and try and fight the refs and stuff. So I was like, hell yeah,
Awesome.
you know. And these are all guys that I looked up to and watched. Like Aaron Stevens pulled me aside when I did that protest promo, when I went out to that protest and harassed them. He was like, dude, he's like, you don't know how jealous I am of my brain right now that my brain did not think of that one, because he's a witty motherfucker. I'll be honest. He's a clever son of a bitch. And he's like, if I would have just thought to go out there and wave the Mongolian flag in the background, he's like, dude, he's like, he's all, if you didn't do it, I would go and do that right now. He's all, kudos. And I was just like, oh God, hell yeah. You know, it's just cool to hear all this stuff. And I realized like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. This feels right. This feels comfortable. Let's rock and roll.
Random question, but I want to know just how fucking terrifying Eddie Kingston is. Is he as scary as he comes across?
He's great, dude. I wouldn't want to piss him off, but he's very funny and very very cool dude. So yeah, just don't piss him off.
Fair dues. I'll keep that in mind if I ever have the pleasure of meeting him in person. It just projecting some, you know, the kind of cliche questions we do fall into them sometimes. Who's the dream opponent right now for Zicky Dice?
Seth Rollins.
Perfection. At WrestleMania?
Yep. I mean, the story writes itself. Student versus teacher. You know, and that's been my dream match for a while.
How about in NWA terms right now? You're looking around that locker room. Who are you looking at and sizing up and thinking, I want a slice of that?
Everybody. When I mean everybody, I mean everybody. Feed them to me. Let's go.
Zicky Dice is going to run through the whole locker room. That'd just be amazing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You mentioned that 7 wins in a row, the idea, which is such a cool idea, almost like an evolution of that X Division Championship, you know, option C. The idea of winning 7 straight gives you that opportunity to take on, you know, the biggest man for the 10 pounds of gold. Do you have a checklist like so many wrestlers do with things that you want to tick off, or are you one of these guys who's, I will just live every moment, breathe every moment, and let it just speak for itself?
A little bit of both. Like, I know what I want, and I want goddamn every single title in the NWA. You know, how else am I going to build equity in real estate? You know, like no one's safe. No one's safe. Not Dave Marquez, not Stu Bennett, not Joe Galley, not even Sean Mooney. I'll smash his head into the podium too. I don't give a shit.
Oh, Sean Mooney, he's suffering.
Billy Corgan too. I'll smash more than pumpkins. I'll tell you that.
Oh, fucking pay money to see you whoop Billy Corgan's ass. Sorry, Billy, but damn, like that
maybe
is.
Maybe I'll throw a drink in
right
his
now.
face or something. Yeah, I would love to slap Billy Corgan.
British wrestling promoters right now scrambling for that phone number, so let's make sure that shit happens. You mentioned wrestling in South Korea. What's that like? That vibe being able to go somewhere it's totally different.
That was so cool. Oh man. So wrestling, I guess, used to be big there in the, I want to say 60s and 70s, and then Japan took over because it's not far away. So wrestling kind of fizzled out, and there's this company, Pro Wrestling Society, and they're bringing wrestling back to South Korea, and they brought me in part of that, and it was a packed show. It was super cool. By the end of it, I was getting booed by a bunch of Korean fans, and it was awesome for me, and that was a huge, like, I don't know. That's what I wanted, and there was a language barrier, obviously. So how was I going to do this? And I was going to use wrestling as my language, and it completely worked. And I couldn't have such a better like learning experience. And on top of that, Zicky Dice loves Korean barbecue, so I had that like 5 nights a week, and it was great. It was such a good time, and I would love to go back and do it all over again.
Man, that's what. Whereabouts was that? Was that Seoul or?
Yeah, right outside of Seoul.
That's wild. Who did you get to work out there? Were there some big names with you?
Yes, I worked Shiho. He was
awesome.
Going for the champion, one of their main dudes. He spoke pretty good English. I was kind of bummed, I'm not gonna lie, because I wanted to like put a match. I've yet to put a match together with someone who doesn't speak any English, and I really want to test myself in that aspect. So that's on my to-do list. Hopefully I can get that done this year.
I always remember Drew Gulak talking about the idea of the process of feeling out, and the real test of a wrestler was being able to go out there and just being able to just feel that process and feel that, and not even communicate via a spoken language, just allowing wrestling as an art form to speak for itself. So that in itself is a credit to how good you must be, that you're confident and want to try that kind of style. And obviously it's also testament to Black and Brave, man. They train the very best. Like the two friends I've had who went out there have come back are literally tenfold the wrestler they were, and that's coming from a country which has such a rich pedigree. European wrestling is, you know, as you know, very embedded in the history and the legacy of what wrestling is, particularly professional wrestling. So I mean, you know, I remember Daniel Bryan and Drew McIntyre being literally down the road from me. So, you know, it's that kind of thing. I don't want to take up too much of your time, man. I appreciate you got a wild schedule, crazy time difference as well. You're like 8 hours behind us on the West Coast.
Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm glad we can squeeze this in. We have to do this again. I literally could have talked to you for hours, dude. Thank you for having me. And like,
I'm after. Like, what we want is a series of Zicky Dice on the Wrestle Plug. That's what we need.
Well, you have me here. Well, you have me forever. We'll make it happen. And for all you listening, I made it nice and simple for all of you to follow this outlandish journey I call life. It's at symbol ZICKYDICE at Zicky Dice on every piece of social media you can think of. My band Heart to Heart has a new record coming out this Friday, Valentine's Day 2020 on In Vogue Records. You can stream that anywhere you listen to music, and I appreciate you all for hanging out with me.
I know there's a lot of British people who will be after merch. Is it possible to get merch out here? I know, obviously.
Absolutely. You can head to ZickyDice.com or ProWrestlingTees.com/ZickyDice, and I'll make sure that you're all taken care of. And let's be honest, I'm working on coming out that way, so you have to come out and hang out with me live, and I'll keep you posted on that.
Absolutely. Be sure to make yourself aware to us when you do, so that we can give you the VIP treatment, man. We'll take you out for dinner, the whole 9 yards and everything that goes with it. But thank you so much for your time, man. You're welcome to stay in touch with us. You're welcome back on whenever you please. And most importantly, I just want to say on behalf of everybody, but particularly myself, because I'm a selfish motherfucker, I am fucking loving the Zicky Dice character. I'm fucking loving the vibe. I'm loving the success you finally got, that you've earned, that you deserve, and all more power to you, man. I hope that this journey continues upwards for you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Honestly, my pleasure, man. Thank you for speaking to me.
Was to sit down and chat with Zicky Dice. You want to talk about a cool motherfucker? This guy is right up there. I honestly cannot express how thankful I am to Zicky Dice for coming on the podcast. Wow, just blown away really by his generosity, his time, how humble he was. He was an awesome human being, and I honestly cannot express to you how much you should follow Zicky Dice on all social media platforms and follow his incredible journey in professional wrestling and music and beyond. Just an amazing human being with a real great upside. Zicky Dice is just the guy who's going to change the way we look at professional wrestling. There's a little bit of an old school about him, but with a new school vibe. It's very cool. It's very, very cool what he's doing on NWA Powerrr, and no doubt going to lead to him doing even more incredible things within the wrestling business. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to episode 402 of the Wrestle Plug. If you're listening to this before Super Showdown this Thursday or AEW Revolution on Saturday, we have two competitions, #WrestlePlug PvP, and you will know by now, if you're a regular listener, that if you send in your predictions for every major pay-per-view, that includes these two coming up, you will have the opportunity to win a WrestlePlug podcast in the bank. So simply put, send in your predictions to @WrestlePlug on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter, and if you win, you will have the opportunity to come on this podcast at a time of your choosing, obviously within reason. You've got to let us know beforehand because we need to record it. And you will be a guest on the podcast. You'll be able to co-host with myself, possibly with Steve as well. And you'll be able to talk about whatever you want, not to mention, discuss obviously your passion for wrestling, how you got into wrestling. Maybe there's something that irks you. Maybe there's somebody you don't like. Maybe there's somebody you love. Whatever you want to talk about, we will allow you and afford you the platform to discuss that on this podcast. So make sure, if you're listening to this before Super Showdown, that you send in your predictions. And if you happen to have caught this after Super Showdown but before AEW Revolution, which is on the Saturday of course, 29th of February, then make sure you send in your predictions for that one as well, because there are 2 opportunities this week to win a WrestlePlug podcast in the bank. That's all from the WrestlePlug for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, my absolute massive thanks to Zicky Dice for joining me on this podcast. I really, really hope that we can get him over here in the United Kingdom soon. He's the kind of guy who will really make waves, and I think will be supremely popular out here. And I think it's just a matter of time before the whole world knows who the outlandish Zicky Dice really is. It's time for me to bail on you guys, but I'm going to leave you with a track from Heart to Heart, which of course is Zicky Dice's band. I'm going to leave you with a track from their latest EP, Heartbreaker, which has just dropped. You can check out their music via Spotify. This track is called In